What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. One of the things that I wanted to do for a long time is to do a deep dive of the Smoky Eye Breaks by Victoria Beckham Beauty. Currently there are 5 and I have 4. I feel like I've announced this video a few times on my channel, but I constantly didn't have the time to film it. And now I finally get to sit down and do this video for you guys. So I do these deep dives on my channel because that's kind of the videos that I missed when I started purchasing Victoria Beckham Beauty. I wanted to just get everything all together in one video, so in that way I could make an easier purchasing decision if I just saw all of the palettes next to each other and being swatched and being touched right in front of me. If you've never seen the packaging is this beautiful vintage style packaging with that classic horn outside, or turtle shell, whatever you want to call it. It has a clasp or something that you can press in and then you can open up the palette. There's no division between the colors in this palette. It's a smoky eye brick. This brick is not revealable and the size is about the size of a business card. It's small and I admit it is pricey, but someone that has a large makeup collection like I do, to be honest, I actually love having these around because they're so easy to travel with and they're so incredibly easy to store. They don't take a lot of room and it's just really beautiful. I love having these in my collection. For some reason, I just love seeing these and the way that they look. I think Victoria Beckham Beauty does it really well. Victoria Beckham Beauty, by the way, is also a cruelty-free brand and a clean brand. And I'm not gonna go deep diving in formulations. I'm just gonna deep dive into what looks good on me and what doesn't. So out of the 4 palettes that I have, 3 of them are considered satin mattes, meaning that they're not a full-blown matte. And if you can see some of the swatches that I did and some of the B-roll videos that I did, you see that there's a slight shimmer in them. This shimmer you don't really see on the eyes, so don't let it deter you if you're a matte fan. It just brings a little bit more dimension to the face or to the eyes once you start wearing them. The only one that is different is of course the Silk palette. That one is described as a satin shine eyeshadow quad, and all of these are in the satin shine formula. There's no mattes in here. Originally, I didn't really know if I liked this formula at all. It's a very classic formula, and I'm talking about the matte formula now. It's very powdery, so there is some fallout. If you go in with your brush, there is a lot of powder kick up. I don't really mind it. It also means that it's very blendable and there's a lot of pigment. And it's kind of that classic style matte formula that I feel like really works for a lot of people. Also people that have older and mature skin. It definitely blends out really well on the lids. So I would recommend it for multiple ages. These are definitely very wearable colors and I feel like there's a market for these type of eyeshadows. I don't think everybody will appreciate these eyeshadows for what they are, and that is just incredibly wearable, incredibly buildable, and really easy to use. Definitely don't make these eyeshadows something that they're not, and that is just crazy creative eyeshadow quads. They're not necessarily made, I think, for being creative. They're more made for the everyday gal. And I, of course, many of you know, I have an office job, so these are perfect for me. And I definitely started appreciating my signature palette more last year because it was just one of those things that I just slapped on easy right before I went to work. It just really worked for me, and therefore I decided to look at the other ones. So let's talk about these palettes. These palettes retail for 58 euros. And the first one I ever had was the Signature palette. I love this palette for every day. There's 8.5 grams in here, or 0.3 ounces. And it's described as follows: favorite shades for an everyday contour eye. There's 4 shades in here: Cami, a neutral beige, Slip, a soft peach pink, Saddle, a deep brown, and Suede, a medium taupe. It's dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, safe for sensitive skin, gluten-free, and soy-free. So first we're going to use that shade Cami, which is this beautiful light beige shade. It looks about my skin color, but it isn't. If you go in a few times to really finesse the shade in your crease area, you see that there is a difference. It contours the eye really beautiful. I just want to lay down some color, some pigment, shape the eye a little bit. The second shade that I want to go into is Slip, which is this pink shade. I'm going to use this on top of my lid and a little bit in my crease area. I'm not going to blend it out all the way on top of my other shade that I just put down, the Cami shade. I want to be able to show you both colors. The third color I'm going into is Suede, which is this kind of neutral brown color, and I'm going to use this to deepen out my outer corners and deepen out the crease a little bit. I'm not going to take this very high. I just want to really show you the dimension of this palette. Then finally, I'm going to go in with Saddle, and I'm going to line my eyes with Saddle. So this is the final look using only the shades, but I'm not really done yet. I want to go in with my new Victoria Beckham Instant Brightening Waterline Pencil. There's currently only one shade. This is neutral. I haven't demoed this on my channel just yet. It's kind of making its debut in this video. And I'm gonna top it off, of course, with the Future Lash Mascara. This is an everyday eye, and this is how I typically wear this palette. Then we have Tweed, which is an eye break that features warm shades from terracotta to deep plum for a new neutral. There's 4 shades in here, of course. There's Caramel, Toasty Beige, Cashmere, Chocolate Brown, Oxblood, Deep Plum, and Rust Clay Red. Okay, so for this second look, I kind of just decided to do a full-blown smoky eye, like the smokiest of smokiest. Really use all the colors. I first went into Caramel, which is this beautiful, well, caramel color, and I wanted to deepen out my crease right away and deepen out my outer corners. This shade packs so much pigment. What this palette is sort of lacking compared to the signature palette is the amount of depth, because you don't have an extreme light shade. All of the shades are quite dark. There's nothing to highlight with this palette. So that's one sad thing about this palette. Nevertheless, let's see how it performs. After you've laid down that first color, we're going in with Cashmere. This is a beautiful chocolate brown color, and we're just gonna increase the depth in the outer corner. We're gonna keep it a little lower in the crease so you can still see that first color peeking through. Then for the third shade, we're going in with the beautiful red shade. It's called Rust, and we're gonna put that all over the lid. This is what really makes that smoky eye, that deep eye. And the one dud I feel in this palette is the shade Oxblood. It swatches pretty poorly and it doesn't really show up on the lids. And this time around, I wanted to show you the color a little more and try to pack on the color. But as you can see, because there's so little dimension in this palette, it's pretty hard to see this last purple shade. So my suggestion is to not buy this for the purple shade. So this is the final look using only the palette, but I like to use this palette with one of my lid lustres. I have currently all of the lid lustres. You can check out my video if you want to see all of these demoed. And the two that I want to recommend are Chiffon, which I'll put on one eye, and the other one that I want to recommend is Tea Rose. It complements this palette really well, where Chiffon kind of opens up the eye, makes it a little bit more wearable, less deep. You can also use a combination of both. It looks really nice. And I find this a beautiful autumn palette. It's not my favorite one out of all 4, but it's definitely a beautiful palette nonetheless. I don't really have anything like this in my collection, and I have moments that I really gravitate towards this palette, particularly in autumn. The third satin matte palette that I have is Tuxedo. Tuxedo features charcoal hues for a cool, smoldering eye. It has Blanc, which is a crisp ivory, Rain, a cool gray, Noir, a soft black, and Fumé, which is a smoky slate. So for this look, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We are going to start with the lightest shade, which is the shade Blanc. This is a stark white shade and probably one of the better white shades in my collection. The pigment in this is very beautiful. I'm only doing the shade to see where I want to map out my colors. Then next, we're going to go in Fumé, which is all the way at the end, and we're gonna deepen out the inner and the outer corner. Next, I want to go in with Rain and connect Fumé and Blanc next to each other, kind of bringing it up to the crease area to deepen out the crease, but not too much. Then before I go into the darkest shadow, I'm gonna do a little cat line. I'm using the Satin Kajal liner by Victoria Beckham Beauty in the shade Black. Then I'm using the final color that's called Noir. This is the darkest color, and I'm gonna set my liner. This is what we have right now. But we're not done. First, we're going to be doing the bottom lash line. I'm going to try to mimic the same as I did on top. And I want to put a sea gray in my waterline. Next, I'm going to do this off camera, but I'm going to include some lashes. I feel like this is a nighttime look and it requires lashes. And on the bottom lashes, I'm gonna put the Future Lash Mascara, of course, by Victoria Beckham Beauty. And this is the final look. What do you guys think? The last palette that I own is Silk. The Silk palette is a special palette because this is the only one that is a satin shine formula. The Silk palette features tones ranging from soft champagne to a deep bronze. So the first color is Linen, a light champagne, Sunbeam, a true yellow gold, Sandal, a deep red brown, and Copper, a true bronze. For this look, we're gonna do things a little different. I'm gonna start with the second shade. This shade is called Sunbeam. We're gonna deepen out the crease and just lay down a little color. We can bring it a little high up. The Silk palette is the only one that states it has 8 grams on the back or 0.28 ounces, but it still retails for 58 euros. Because it's a different formulation, I don't really mind. I don't think they necessarily put less in there. I just think that because of the formulation, the weight is different. Then the second color we're gonna go into is the shade Copper all the way at the end. We're gonna deepen out the crease color a little lower so we can still see Sunbeam peeking through on top. Then we're gonna go in the lightest shade, the shade Linen, and we're gonna put this all over the lid. And finally, we're gonna deepen out the outer corner with the darker shade Sandal. We're gonna do the same on the bottom, and we're gonna put the lightest shade Linen also in the inner corners and underneath my brow bone. And this is what it looks like untouched, just as is. Now, of course, you can use the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara and be done for your eye look, but I do want to also add 2 amazing lid lusters. The lid lusters in Blonde and Starlight complement this palette a lot. So if you want to amp it up a little bit with some extra sparkle, you can use these. Let me show you what it looks like to put Starlight in the outer corners. And of course, Blonde all over the lid, really amping up those lids, kind of brightening up the eye. To top it all off, I'm gonna use the Posh gloss in Aperitivo, and that finishes off the look. Okay guys, so those were the palettes all demoed. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below if you have a favorite or if you're looking at a particular one that you really wanted to buy. I am going to include some affiliates down below, so if you do want to support my channel, you can use one of the affiliates. I do earn a little bit of commission, but everything that I earn will probably go right back into my channel because everything you see here is purchased by me and me alone. If you liked this video, make sure to like this video, and that way I know I'll do more videos like these. I am thinking if people like these type of deep dives, that I'll do a deep dive of maybe my Charlotte Tilbury palettes next, maybe in the future. Let me know. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I've gotten all the deets out of the way. The swatches are done, the demo is done, and it's all up to you to just decide which one is best for you, or if this is a palette formulation that you like at all. I personally like these palettes a lot. I see them in my collection for, until they expire or even after that. They don't take up a lot of room, and they're just some favorites of mine in my collection. They're so easy to use. The last one that I purchased was Tuxedo, and I really wanted to do this video with Tuxedo included because Tuxedo is that cool toned girl. Definitely a palette that I don't have in my collection just yet. Anyway guys, I don't want to ramble on too much. Comment down below if you have any questions regarding these palettes or anything else that's on my face, or comment down below if you just want to chat. That's also fine. I still have to take the time to just comment back to everyone. I actually really like being able to do that and connecting with you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more Victoria Beckham Beauty. I definitely follow the brand, and I even have a playlist if you are new to my channel that you can check out, where all of my Victoria Beckham Beauty content is just bundled up together, and you can just see what you like of the range. I feel like I have nearly everything. The only thing that I don't have, I believe, is the primer and the lip tints, but other than that, I nearly have everything of the range. I really like Victoria Beckham Beauty's aesthetic and the fact that they're clean and cruelty free, and just, you know, they really hold their ingredient list to a higher standard, and I feel like they put a lot of thought in their product formulation. Anyway, I tend to ramble on, so I'm gonna end the video here. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye!